We've been working on a new elk spawning and movement system, something much more naturalistic than in the current game, which each map has a couple elk hunting zones, and you always go there and you always find elk there. But in WolfQuest 3 in Tower Fall, that's going to be completely different. Elk will just be out there, wherever elk would logically be found. So let's look at our new Amethyst Mountain map. It's 7 by 7 kilometers. That's compared to 2 by 2 kilometers on the old map, so a lot bigger. Again, this is kind of the area of the old map, and we got a lot bigger area here. Now clearly there are places that elk prefer to be here, and places that they would not want to be. So this is really great grazing area, especially later in the fall, when the grass is up higher, have gone dry. But this is still in the early fall. This up here is still a nice area. Up here is a nice area. Some in the woods, but these steep cliffs, obviously not where elk really want to be. And that's one thing that will be different than the current game. Elk aren't going to run down these steep cliffs and look kind of ridiculous doing that. They're going to avoid those because that's what elk would do. So in this map of Amethyst, there are definitely some areas that elk prefer and areas that elk do not prefer. So we've created an elk habitat map. So I'm just going to fade this in. The red areas are areas that elk would definitely avoid. The green areas are where they really prefer, and the yellow areas they're okay. They'll go through there, but they'll always be looking for the green areas where they would really prefer to be. And so you can see, if we bring that down a little bit, the red areas are these cliffs, and some of these densely wooded creek beds going down the slopes here, some more cliffs up here, and then back here on top of Amethyst. By the time Amethyst, that level begins, it's probably too late for them to be grazing up here. It's also the edge of the map. So from that, we then created a set of waypoints, this grid of waypoints, and each of these nodes has a value on it. Like, this is ideal habitat for elk, this is acceptable, and then the red areas are forbidden, where they just should not go. So this is kind of a rough draft of the waypoints. We're going to make a much denser grid. You can see here there's not a whole lot of choices here for them to go in here, where the red and the green are really close together, but this is our draft so far, and broadly gets the idea of where they want to be and where they don't want to be. So now we can turn on some elk herds, and let me just run this and see how they move. So there they go. They're running at about 15 times normal speed, accelerated just so we can see the broader movements and patterns. So they generally stay in the green areas, but they will get close to the yellow areas, kind of go into there. You can see, looking for green, looking for some better habitat. And basically they get to each waypoint and they're like, okay, am I in good area? Am I in the ideal habitat? If not, looking for nodes nearby that would take me back into the green. So over time, they can really wander quite a ways, because they basically make a decision as they get into each waypoint of where to go next based on the adjacent waypoints. So they can wander a while, they can spend a while more in one particular area as they graze. We'll also be adding in some day and night behaviors, so they'll wander more when they're grazing at dawn and dusk, and wander a lot less in the middle of the night when they're generally sleeping. So you can see they really do cover some ground, quite a bit of ground over time. I think that, along with the new scent system of the scent spores floating long distances based on wind direction, I did a video about that a few weeks ago. I think it's going to be a whole new challenge to find an elk herd.